The Argentine flag at half-mast at the high school in Rosario, Argentina, where 5 victims of the New York attack on Tuesday graduated 30 years ago. Eitan Abramovich, Agence France-Presse, Getty Images. Rosario, Argentina. The big trip to New York had been decades in the making. 30 years ago, when they were all still high school students in this industrial city in Argentina, 10 young men promised to celebrate the reunion somewhere in style. "In 30 years, we have to go on a trip," said Christian Chancha, a fellow graduate, recalling the pledge. The friends eventually settled on New York, but the cost was too high. So Ariel Erlay, one of the 5 Argentines killed in the terrorist attack on Tuesday in Lower Manhattan, did not think twice before helping to pay for flights. Friends said, when any friend, any acquaintance, needed anything, he never hesitated to offer a hand, said Mr. Chancha, who was not on the trip. Finally, the 30-year promise was coming true, until the unimaginable happened. A motorist mowed down cyclists and pedestrians on a bike path along the Hudson River on Tuesday afternoon, killing 8 people, including half of the group from Argentina. "We don't understand how there can be so much evil in the world," said Alejandro Luca, a close friend and business partner of Mr. Erlay. The Argentine friends had been inseparable in high school and had remained close over the years, even as 2 of them moved to the United States. Last Saturday, 8 of them set off to the United States from Rosario, which is northwest of Buenos Aires. Before boarding a flight, they looked giddy as they posed for a photograph wearing matching white t-shirts and printed with Libre, or free, in large black letters. The t-shirts were Mr. Erlay's idea, born out of a joke made in a group chat on WhatsApp about what it would be like for this gaggle of friends, now in the late 40s, to be inseparable again, for a few days without their wives. The other trip participants who died were Hernán Ferrucci, Alejandro Pánico, Hernán Mendoza and Diego Angelini, all architects, according to the Argentine newspaper Clarín. The survivors were Martin Marro, who lives in Massachusetts, Guillermo Banchini, who lives in New York, Ivan Brajkovic, Juan Pablo Trevisan and Ariel Benvenuto. Mr. Pánico's son, Orny Pánico, said in a brief interview conducted over social media that the reunion participants had shared videos and photos with a lot of emotion. "His father was a great man and the best father in the world," Orny Pánico said. "I'm in a very ugly moment of my life." From left, Hernán Ferrucci, Alejandro Pánico, Ariel Erlay, Ivan Brajkovic, Juan Pablo Trevisan, Hernán Mendoza, Diego Angelini and Ariel Benvenuto gathered for a photo on Saturday at the airport in Rosario, Argentina, before leaving for New York. Trevisan family, via Associated Press officials at the 3-story school, which has marble staircases and high ceilings, were devastated. Bibiana Viñadazo, a regent and physics teacher, shared memories of the men, who had taken her technical mechanics class in 1986. All 10 of them were great friends back then, Mos Viñadazo, 58, said in an interview. "If there's something I remember about them, it is that they were all big jokers. It wasn't mean-spirited, but they were always joking around with each other and their classmates." Alicia Oliva, a deputy director at the school, said groups of friends who graduate from the Politecnico in Rosario often remain close. "This group wasn't an exception," Mos Oliva said. "Lots of our students formed bonds that last a lifetime and they still see each other, go on vacation together." On Tuesday, the school day began with a minute of silence at 7:30 a.m. "Everyone was very respectful," Mos Oliva said. "I told the students it was an opportunity to reflect on the importance of community and tolerance." That message resonated for Agustin Riccardi, 18, the student council president. "There is a lot of consternation because when I stopped and thought about it, I would love to go on a trip with my classmates 30 years from now, and for a reunion like that to end this way is just devastating," he said. "Even if we don't know the victims, we know their fathers, uncles, cousins of people we know. This is a small community." Mr. Erlay, the trip's organizer, was a successful steel entrepreneur and real estate investor. Even as the father of 3 amassed considerable wealth, friends said, he remained simple in his manners and tact. "He had a big heart," said Mr. Luca, the friend and business partner. "There's no one who's not mourning him here." City officials on Wednesday declared 3 days of mourning. A candlelight vigil was held after sunset outside the school. Residents of Rosario, a riverside city of about 1 million people, described feeling an overbearing sense of loss. "I couldn't stop crying last night and I wasn't alone," said Nelly Derique de Jordan, 84, as she drank a coffee downtown Rosario is mourning. "These were our Rosario brothers." Jorge Castles, 59, a systems engineer, said the horror of the news dominated conversations at work and seemingly everywhere in Rosario on a hot spring day. "I heard lots of people ask, where is it safe to travel now?" he said. "A friend told me this had convinced him not to go to the World Cup in Russia." Ana Laspela, 20, an architecture student, said the attack made her feel vulnerable. "Something like this really makes you think about how fragile life can be," she said. "It really does feel like it could have happened to any one of us." Daniel Politi reported from Rosario, and Ernesto Londonio from Rio de Janeiro. Jan Ransom contributed reporting from New York. A version of this article appears in print on November 2, 2017, on page A20 of the New York edition with the headline "A Trip Promised for 30 Years, and Then the Unthinkable."